Here's the news for this evening. Picking up the pieces. Residents of Linden appeal for help after storm sweeps the community. The Guyana government is more concerned about illegal guns than it is about Venezuelans crossing the border illegally. Granger administration should give more to Irma relief efforts, says opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo. And a game of musical chairs? New acting crime chief named 2 days after one was appointed.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Join us. The mining town of Linden is appealing to the rest of Guyana for assistance for several dozen families displaced by heavy winds that struck the community on Tuesday. Many persons are calling it a freak storm, which knocked the roof off of buildings and uprooted trees. Channel 2 Headline News spoke with Mayor Carwin Holland, who outlined the immediate needs of the community.
We need urgent intervention. We have our own Irma in Linden, our own storm in Linden that would have affected many families.
Mayor of Linden, Carwin Holland, appeals to the central government to assist residents of the mining town after a freak storm ripped through the municipality on Tuesday.
We've had trees falling on homes in Blueberry Hill, in Wiz Rock, 1 Mile, Victory Valley. Most of the houses on the hills were affected.
As of last night, the town council was still assessing the full extent of the damage. Based on the response thus far, scores of families have been displaced.
This is the initial count from persons who call in and lodge reports either with the council or with the police or with the RDC. At least over 50 families, I could say, are under stress at this moment, and we need to offer some kind of relief to them. However, it's well over 100 and something persons or homes, I would say, that was, severely affected.
As previously reported, the storm ripped the roof from the market and a secondary school. Unfortunately, the elderly of the community were not spared either.
We need assistance for the Dorfolk home as well. That was severely damaged. This is the elderly home in Linden. Severe damages at the Dorfolk home.
The storm has affected some of Linden's most vulnerable residents. As such, without outside assistance, the recovery efforts could take months, if not years.
Residents cannot just afford to rebuild their houses, etc. There's economic hardship in Linden. So when a storm like this hit, it's very tough on residents and homeowners because they cannot do the repairs, they cannot stand the cost.
Despite the destruction, Mayor Holland was heartened by the fact that several residents of the community have opened their homes to their displaced neighbors. Those who would like to help or are seeking assistance themselves are asked to call the MNTC emergency number at 444-6303 or the police at 444-3512. Venezuelans fleeing internal conflict and food shortages have troubled CARICOM leaders. However, at the moment, Guyana's Foreign Affairs Minister said the government is more concerned about illegal guns crossing the border than it is about an influx of Venezuelans. Here's more. For years, much cross-border movement has occurred between Guyana and Venezuela. The relatively porous border with Venezuela has allowed citizens of both countries to migrate between the two with little hindrance. To an extent, such movement has been tolerated for years due to the typically positive economic effect it has on these border villages. But as the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Venezuela continues, tens of thousands of persons have fled to neighboring Colombia. As for Guyana, the Foreign Affairs Minister suggests that the number is negligible, but he does express a different concern.
The main movements that I've that we've picked up has been of Guyanese or persons claiming to be of Guyanese origin who have come very often through Mabaruna or Wawuna area. But there are a number of others, some of whom have appeared in Georgetown, for example, are clearly in need of assistance, and we will try to do what we can. At points where there are villages on either side of the border or towns not far from the borders, there has also been some movement, but I don't know that at this stage the numbers are massive. The bigger concern, the bigger worry is of crime and the movement of weapons and guns in these border areas.
Some speculate that the embattled nation's economic crisis may be slowly creeping into Guyana's hinterland, as, in recent months, there have been reports of Spanish-speaking armed gangs attacking mining camps in Regions 1, 7, and 8. This is a situation of which the government is aware and plans to address. The nation is certainly open for business in the oil and gas sector. Guyanese are being encouraged to get involved with foreign companies seeking to invest in the industry. Wendell Jeffrey has been following the developments in this budding sector and filed this report.
Really good meetings yesterday. I've received some excellent feedback from both the NEA delegates as well as from the Guyanese partners that met with the NEA delegates. They felt that there is really some tangible experiences and partnerships they're hoping to leverage from working with the NEA members. So that's excellent. I think we already are seeing some very positives coming out from just one day.
That was Anand Harilal, Trade Commissioner to the Canadian High Commission and coordinator of the Oil and Gas Mission to Guyana. Newfoundland and Labrador Association is a conglomerate of oil and gas businesses. Several of the delegates are representatives from that outfit.
This is NEA's first visit to Guyana, and we are so very happy to be here. Through our meetings this week, it has become evident that behind the obvious differences between an island in the frigid North Atlantic Ocean and this nation on the coastline of South America, there are many similarities that we share. We've come to realize that Newfoundlanders and Guyanese have much in common, and that has helped make the last couple of days of meetings both productive and also fun.
Treasurer of Newfoundland and Labrador Association, Michael Critch, said that the oil brought billions of dollars to their province in Canada, and he hoped that that will be the case for Guyana.
Guyana is very similar to Newfoundland and Labrador as it was in the early 70s through 90s. We didn't have an industry really prior to 1996 when we first had production. Hibernia started producing in 1996, and we've seen some 50 billion in cumulative spend in our province of 500,000 people since then, and it's had significant impact for us. We hope that that's going to be the same case for Guyana.
It's a pleasure working with the Canadian High Commission. This is our third major event since I've had GUYANA that we've worked with. Fortunately, two of them happen to be in the natural resources area, and they've been pretty successful with the Gold and Mining Association, and now we're doing something in oil and gas.
That was Owen Veersway of Go Invest. He noted also that the visiting team made a trip to the Liza 1 drilling site to get a hands-on view of what is taking place in the rich waters of Guyana.
We've also been very successful in organizing a tour to one of the shore base, or the leading shore base location right now. The team was very, very pleased to see the development in its early phases, understand the opportunities there, and understand the nature of the logistics that is involved in supporting that.
The Go Invest head is suggesting that Guyanese businesses and entrepreneurs position themselves and get involved with the overseas-based businesses.
The companies range from the education sector, post-secondary in the trades area, right through to the real estate and the servicing of the industry.
For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. For the most part, Guyana was spared from the trio of hurricanes that ravaged the U.S. and the Caribbean. But it does not mean that Guyanese will not feel the after effects of the storms. Starting today, state-run Guyana Oil Company, or GuyOil, has increased fuel prices, citing a recent spike in acquisition costs. The powerful hurricanes and floodwaters caused over a dozen oil refineries along the Gulf Coast to temporarily shut down, further exacerbating the situation. In response, GUYANA has raised gasoline prices from $190 a liter to $204, an increase of $14. The price of kerosene has increased by $10 to $125 per liter, ultra-low sulfur diesel by $15, and gas oil by $6. Guyana is not alone. In the United States, from which Guy Oil sources much of its fuel, customers on average saw an increase of about 15 cents a gallon. Coming up on Headline News after the break, new developments emerge in the appointment of the acting crime chief, and NGOs are trained on compliance.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you have a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
On Sunday, September 17, 2017, the Central Housing and Planning Authority is inviting residents of Section C, Sirkine and Cummins Park, Section C, Cummins Lodge, to a public consultation at the Washbit Tarmac and Cummins Park Multipurpose Building, respectively. The consultation will address the reformulation of the Road Network Upgrade and Expansion Program. The project, which will be undertaken through a loan from the Inter-American Development Bank and entails road upgrades, street lights and sidewalks, upgrades to playgrounds and community buildings, and subsidies for construction of core homes and home improvements. Starting time, 16 hours at both locations.
Styles, simply different.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook, Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Welcome back. Former President Barrett Jagdeo is asking the Granger administration to be altruistic in its response to the suffering that is taking place in our sister Caribbean nations. Speaking at his press conference on Wednesday, he suggested that the current government should either give more money or provide other forms of assistance to persons on islands battered by Hurricane Irma. Wendell Jeffrey has more.
I hope that the government would not be miserly in its efforts to extend help to the region, all the countries in the region, and to the many Guyanese who live abroad and urgently need assistance now.
Mr. Jagdeo was making reference to the $50,000 that the Guyana government has pledged to the relief efforts now ongoing in the Caribbean region. Last week at the planning session for the relief aid to the affected areas, the Prime Minister, Minister Moses Nagamutu, had noted that Guyana was contributing $10 million to the effort.
Initially, I've been informed that a commitment was made for $50,000, equivalent of $10 million.
The opposition leader said that folks who have relatives in those affected countries have visited his office and are calling him to say that their families don't have food and that they are stuck and that they want to get home.
People don't have food, they don't have means of moving, they're stuck in some places, and many of them want to come home. Guyanese who are living in these islands, they just want to escape the hell that they're confronted with on a daily basis.
Mr. Jagdeo reminded that when he was in power and the earthquake hit Haiti, his government donated $1 million to the relief effort.
You'd recall when the earthquake hit Haiti, we gave $1 million in assistance to Haiti.
Mr. Jagdeo said that he hopes the government does better than the $50,000 or give assistance in other ways. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Some perceive the appointment of the acting crime chief to be a theatrical spectacle, as the Guyana police force has fumbled the entire process. On Monday, Channel 2 Headline News reported that Commander of the Police F Division, Ravindradat Budram, would serve as the acting crime chief in the absence of Detective Senior Superintendent Wendell Blanham, the substantive holder of the post. Senior officials have confirmed that Budram's appointment as acting crime chief has been rescinded. With the turn of events, Assistant Training Commander of Police Paul Williams will act as crime chief until Blanham's return in December 2017. The police stated that Blanham has accumulated leave for a number of years. Many of the local non-governmental organizations are non-compliant when it comes to the GRA and NIS requirements. Today, with funds provided by the USAID, the Guyana Civil Society Leadership Project hosted a training workshop for NGOs wishing to better understand the compliance needs of their organizations. Wendell Jeffrey was at the workshop and filed this report.
I'm sure all of you have bank accounts, so you also need to reconcile your bank account monthly. Now, if I'm moving a bit fast, stop me, and I can retract a little bit and explain. Now, are you all familiar with the bank reconciliation?
That was Ramit Sibaran, a chartered accountant with the HLBR Charter Accounting Company. Some 20 NGOs attended the training workshop held today. The focus was on financial matters that impact the effectiveness of their organizations. Sibaran, who was one of the trainers for the conference, spoke also of the need for the NGOs to practice good accounting and record keeping. This, he said, will not only increase their transparency, but will also reduce the likelihood of unethical and illegal practices within their respective organizations.
We have the employer, we have the self-employed person, employed and voluntary contributor.
According to Melissa Semple, a senior inspector with the National Insurance Scheme, those are the 4 categories of persons who by law are required to remit parts of their income to the scheme.
Employees not to be registered. Anyone earning less than $5 per week As in Guyana dollars?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Semple told those gathered that according to the laws of Guyana, as long as you are making more than 5 Guyana dollars a week, and except for a very few other exemptions, one is required to pay their NIS contributions. She spoke also of the extensive benefits derived from the scheme when one's contributions are intact. Those benefits include burial costs, survivors' benefits, maternal benefits, assistance with eyeglasses, industrial accidents benefit, and assistance with overseas medical bills.
Today's session is about organizations or charities or trusts who are registered under the Friendly Society Act, or as organizations who would be tax compliant or who are looking to be tax compliant under the audit, financial audits, as well as NIS compliant. The National Coordinating Coalition hosts a number of NGOs under its umbrella. So it's multiple organizations. Currently the membership stands at 32 organizations that that helps in the assistance of becoming the one body that fights for the rights and all other things that NGOs are part of.
Mr. Joseph DeLong, Research Mobilization Officer for the Guyana Civil Society Leadership Project, is optimistic about the good results the workshop will yield. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Still ahead, one Caribbean country wants private security firms to help fight crime. Stay with us. The ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook, Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
On Sunday, September 17, 2017, the Central Housing and Planning Authority is inviting residents of Section C, Turkana and Commons Park, Section C, Commons Lodge, to a public consultation at the Wash Bay Tarmac and Commons Park multipurpose building, respectively. The consultation will address the reformulation of the road network upgrade and expansion program. The project, which will be undertaken through a loan from the Inter-American Development Bank, and entails road upgrades, street lights and sidewalks, upgrades to playgrounds and community buildings, and subsidies for construction of core homes and home improvements. Starting time, 16 hours at both locations.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
John Lewis Styles proudly introduces Everest Bags, a complete and affordable line especially suited for back to school. Lunch bags from $3,500, backpacks from $4,500, pulley backpacks from $10,995. Also available are messenger bags, computer bags, waist pouches, duffel bags, gym bags, and even camping bags, all for the same price or less than buying online. And it's already here on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Welcome back. And news from the region now. In Trinidad and Tobago, private security firms are being asked to help fight crime. Here's more from C News.
The private security industry can play a major role in the fight against crime. This from Minister of National Security Edmund Dillon, who is urging members of that industry to get regularized standards.
And we believe, and we strongly believe, that there is a role for all in Trinidad and Tobago, including the private security industry. And we believe that in cooperation with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, the agencies of national security, there is a role to be played by the private security industry in Trinidad and Tobago. But before they can play that role, we must first regulate the industry. We must first bring the industry into a certain kind of standard that can complement and encourage and prepare them to execute that role effectively and efficiently.
At a national security symposium this morning, the minister said there needed to be collaboration between the stakeholders in the industry to bring private security service firms up to mark.
There is a role for the private security industry to work together with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and other agencies of national security. And it's only by cooperation and collaboration, a strong policy, a strong philosophy of cooperation and collaboration that we bring all the entities that are geared towards treating crime and criminality in Trinidad and Tobago, that we will be successful.
And internationally, a police investigation is underway after 8 persons were found dead at a Florida nursing home after Hurricane Irma. More in this ABC News report.
The latest from Florida, where Hurricane Irma has knocked out power for millions. At least 8 people have died after a nursing home lost its air conditioning. And this morning, a criminal investigation is underway. Our chief national correspondent, Tom Yam, is on the scene in Hollywood. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. When fire rescue teams started responding to calls at this nursing home, they realized these weren't isolated incidents. This was a full-blown crisis. And what may be most troubling of all is where this happened. This is the nursing home right here where people were dying, and it's literally across the street from a hospital with a fully functioning ER.
This morning, investigators are trying to figure out how 8 residents from this nursing home ended up dying following a power problem 3 days after Hurricane Irma hit Florida. Police and fire rescue evacuating 170 people, several suffering from dehydration and heat exhaustion.
The facility called and said that incidents were occurring. Something's going on in the center, unknown how many patients or their injuries.
Seniors taken out on their beds, in wheelchairs during the mass exodus. One of those victims, Carolyn Earthley, 78 years old.
She was fun. She had a very good sense of humor. I feel like she could have lived on. This extreme condition caused this.
Families of residents desperate for any information. Amber Mickles came looking for her 94-year-old great-grandmother.
Right now, we don't know where she is, though.
Did they tell you that the power was out or that they had power issues or AC issues? Did you ever get notified?
No.
The deaths now under criminal investigation. The nursing home right across the street from Memorial Regional Hospital, a major healthcare facility.
The hospital is across the street. Why weren't they taken there?
That is part of our investigation, and who knew what, when.
Overnight, the nursing home administrator, George Carballo, releasing a statement saying they diligently prepared for the impact of Hurricane Irma and that they didn't lose power, but a transformer powering the AC went down. So, staff set up mobile cooling units and fans to cool the facility.
You went inside. How hot did it feel inside?
It felt like 110, 115 degrees in there.
Could you see the suffering?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You heard it right there. It felt like 110, 115 degrees. The state has now shut down this nursing home on orders from the governor, who said what happened here is unfathomable. The nursing home does have a checkered past with multiple violations for health issues. Robin? So tragic, Tom. Thank you.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
And now for the weather report. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this evening, the 14th of September, 2017. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and ch2headlinenews.com. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Friday evening at 6 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and do have a blessed evening.